What's up, fam? Welcome to another edition of God Dreamers, where it is our desire to inspire you to find and activate your God-given purpose through sharing stories, testimonies, and having discussion on today's trending topics. So, hi, I'm your host, Todd.
Hey, everybody. I'm Jairus.
Yeah, so today, Jairus, before we got on this recording, we were talking about planning for the new year. So we're right at the edge of 2025 transitioning to 2026. And I know a lot of people out there are deciding on their plans for the new year or their new year resolutions, so to speak.
Definitely.
So today I wanted us to kind of talk about that, right? What that looks like for us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted, Jairus, first you to share your perspective.
We didn't talk about this.
Well, I'll talk
Sheesh.
about mine just briefly.
Nah, yeah, it's cool though.
Yeah.
I'm just shocked that we're already talking about this already.
Yeah, no, man. It's like 2025 just shot by. It's like it just feels like it was just January, like a month ago.
Exactly. And now we're
a week
away.
Quickly heading into 2026, which is, I feel like life is accelerating. Like, I don't know if you have this feeling as well. I know when I was younger, it seemed like it took forever to get through the year. I was like, when I was in elementary school, I was longing for the summer, and it seemed like it just took like years to get to the summer break.
Exactly. And now the summer is nothing.
Yeah. When you look up and now you kind of wake up and dang, I have kids. And you wake up, wait, I got grandkids. Wake up, I'm retiring.
Yo, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm going to be in your shoes next. I'm like 2 check marks down, so.
Yeah, I was talking to a very wise auntie, and she was telling me that the reason why it seems like things are going faster because when you're younger, you don't have that age experience, right? If you're 5 years old, you've only been on the planet for 5 years. So every year seems like a century. But as you get more time under your belt, then things seem to be a little bit more compressed. And so years seem to be shorter than they were when we were younger. So I said, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So anyway, if you want to share a little about your New Year's resolution, I don't know if do you follow that? Because some people don't. But do you have that officially or unofficially?
I need to do better, because before we were, working on trying to think about, ideas for episodes and things like that. I didn't really have one, but now I was like, oh, I guess I need to make one real quick. So in the past, I really haven't made any resolutions. I always, thought about just getting better at everything I do. That was really the resolution, I guess. Mm-hmm. So it's always progress. It's not like I'm like stagnant or anything like that, but it wasn't like written down the paper. I need to do this. It was just more like I have a mission. I'm going to find my way to get to that goal. So that's really how I've done in the past. But now I definitely want to start just implementing like real goals and I guess smart goals, just so I can attain those things in a more efficient way and actually be, I guess, smart about it and be efficient with it. So yeah, I guess I'll showcase what I have. So really the biggest thing for me right now is my first one is to grow closer to God, to strengthening that faith a little bit more. So I'll say like the past year or two is definitely getting off the training wheels and starting to ride the bike a little bit harder, but we always can be better and strengthen that relationship more. I definitely want to just be fruitful, I guess, just like really be more what's the word, like be in church more, I guess, just for like a better terms. Like I read the Bible almost every day. I pray every day. Maybe I could do it more, like maybe twice a day, 3 times a day. Because usually, like right now, I turn on the Bible app every morning when I go to work, and I spend like because if y'all don't know, like I have a good hour commute. So like a good 30 minutes of that is just like listening to scriptures and have like a little devotion going on. So I definitely want to do that at least twice a day. The evening is a little bit harder, especially when I get home, but I definitely could
Yeah,
like, do it in the car, just at least do it more in the case, just get deeper into the word. But
that's
also,
good.
but yeah, so I'm doing something, but I definitely want to enhance on that a little bit more and definitely want to go to church more. I'm more of a avid online church goer. Like every Sunday I go, watch service online, but I definitely want to step into the presence a little bit more and get that hands-on experience and be around more like-minded people. I think that's the biggest thing. Get more friends around the community in that church
Yeah.
community, build off of that. I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to church and getting around that type of environment. So that's my number one goal is, like I said, is to grow spiritually and strengthen that faith there. Do you want to go back and forth or you just want to go down the list for me?
I mean, we can go back and forth a little bit. I
Okay.
would say for me, when I was younger, I was really heavily, I won't say heavily, but when I was younger, I've always kind of just said, what am I going to do next year? And I would just kind of just go hard at it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, do that. But
Hmm.
now that I've gotten older and a little bit more mature, I'm not so quick to rattle off goals, because I'm a little bit more conscious of my spiritual walk now.
Hmm.
And so I want to make sure that whatever I write down, and I'm going to share some scriptures later on about this, but whatever I write down is a part of God's plan for my life or the next steps for the next year, as opposed to me saying, well, I want to travel the world. I want to make more money. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to be just more mindful of having God being at the core of those discussions and those decisions, so that the year is a little bit more purposeful in that regard. But yeah, that's kind of, I would say that that's kind of my goal. And I do have a list. I kind of break it up a little bit, but Jairus, you can continue on and I'll share my list.
And the funny thing is that when you're talking about yours, it kind of gave me another goal. I was like writing something out that just like came to my head, and that's mindful of time because a lot of and like I guess in my past too, it's like I always had like a big goal, and I kind of have like a what's it called like a narrow vision is like is I'm only focused on that and I don't really understand what's going on what inside of that realm, I guess. Like I'm just so focused on that where I just forget about what other things I want to do. So I definitely want to just be mindful of my time and really stick to what I want to fulfill for that year.
Mhm.
If that makes sense. Like because I think the biggest thing is like I waste a lot of time just thinking of what I want to do and not really put into action. And that goes into another goal too, is like where I talk a lot about my goals, but I never put into action. Like my
No, I don't believe that.
at least for me personally, like for me,
You're
like
the
I
only
talk about it a
person
lot.
on the planet that suffers from that issue.
Really? That's crazy to think about. I thought I'm the opposite. Like I need to do better.
Oh
But I
man.
just feel like I always have like so many goals and aspirations, but I don't go into full head on like I want to.
Yeah.
Like it's just, and that's the thing. Like mindful of time because you have business, like career goals, you have family at home, and that kind of gets lost in the sauce. Where it's like,
Yeah.
I need to really hone down and really have better time management skills and really dedicate specific time and tasks for different times of the day, just so I can really, go after those goals I want to, and
Yeah.
not really be lacking in one aspect and the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's another thing of me just being a lot more time management and really put more action. Like you said, I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm the wrong person for that, but I feel
No,
like I
no,
need to do better
I
than
mean,
that.
I'm messing with you. I mean, 'cause I think a lot of us, I know I do personally, struggle with trying to manage my time properly, and I do waste time.
Hmm.
I'll be, open about that, there is room for improvement in that area. But I think but the other thing too is like, yeah, I'm a great planner. I like to write things down, or I like to get in my mind, this is what I like to do.
Hmm.
And I think sometimes we are try to be overachievers in these goals
Exactly.
and aspirations, and they just can't be done without going insane in the process, right?
Exactly.
So we have to kind of just be prayerful and kind of think things through where it makes sense because there's the time and season too, right, for everything. And so
Mhm.
we try to, I know in the past, I like to do this, do this, do this, do this in this period of time, but it may not be the right time to do that
Exactly.
thing, right? I mean, especially if you have kids, and you have a wife in my case, grandkids. And so things don't necessarily align up the way I would like them to line up. So you just got to kind of use discernment and judgment as far as when you're setting your goals. That one, first of all, is it the right season for it? You know,
That's
it may
true.
not be the right. It may be a good goal to have, but it may not be the right season for it. And
Mhm.
so don't beat yourself up trying to achieve that because you're not going to be able to achieve it the way you would like to. And then also just know your limits. Right? We are
Mhm.
not super people. We do get tired. We do need to rest, and so I think if we keep our goals simple and not have full pay I'm talking to myself right now. I'm talking to myself right now. I got all these things listed out here and when I'm looking, I'm like, dang, that's a lot of stuff. How am I going to be able to
Mhm.
accomplish all of that? But anyway, I'm going to go back and prune this down some because as I'm speaking this out to you, I'm speaking to myself. It's like, yeah, I need to cut this down so that it's not overwhelming and then I don't get anything accomplished because that's the other challenge too. Is like whenever I feel like I'm overwhelmed, then
Mhm.
I don't get as much done because it's like
Exactly.
I'm frustrated. So
Exactly. No,
anyway, yeah. What are your
I
thoughts?
understand. Um, I guess to add on to that, have you heard of like SMART goals, right?
Mm-mm.
Really? It's like so it's a acronym. Um, Let me just make sure I'm correct. But like the S is like specific, the M is like measurable, A is attainable, and then the R I'm trying to figure out. But basically, that's what I learned in like business school. I learned that in the military, things
Ah,
like that.
business school
So
terminology. Well, I never went to business school, so I'm a little slow in that area. But that's
yeah.
why you're on this podcast to help me out.
But yeah, it is yeah, so specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound.
Okay,
So it
okay,
helps you really prone in on that goal and make sure that it's actually smart. You know what I mean? That you can actually fulfill that goal. So
yeah,
yes,
that makes
I'll say it
sense.
again: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So create a
Yeah,
clear, concise goal. Ensure you can measure progress. Ensure you can achieve the goal. Does the goal align with your business? And then make sure your goal has a deadline. So that always, and I think we talk about this all at work as well. Like when it comes to like our career goals and aspirations too, just make sure that it fits within those
I,
parameters. So
I
just
learned
want to,
something
I
new
guess if
today.
you didn't know about that, you know,
So I need to probably apply that on my 5-page list here.
just to, make it a little bit more concise,
Yeah, my goal is to go swimming. That
but
was
then it's like, all right, so how you going to do that?
I
You know
gotta
what I
do that,
mean?
right? Yeah. But when are you
You
gonna
going
do that?
yeah, exactly. So that's something that I learned in my past in school and actually my career now, we actually use that as well. So, um,
So do you have any recommendations? I mean, that was one good recommendation right there of using the smart method. And so any other recommendations for those who are watching as far as planning?
Oh, and that's the thing that I guess you're good at, but I need to be better at is writing it down. A lot of things I think about, and I guess that goes into like the I talk about, but I never put into action because I never write it down. So I can have so many goals, aspirations, and everything I want to do. But if I think about it one day and then the next day I might forget about it. So I think writing it down and maybe putting it like in front of your mirror or putting it on your mirror, like so you see it every day when you brush your teeth or something like that, or put it on your phone, make sure like maybe like a notes or something like that. Just write something down so then you can always see it, you can always relate back to it. And you don't get lost. You know what I mean? So I think that's the biggest thing I want to do better. And I'm pretty sure a lot more people is want to be more organized or precise with what their aspirations are. So just writing it down and looking at it every day, I think is maybe it's a study I think behind it. Like if you see it every day, is you're more prone to do it because it's on the top of your brain almost every day. So if you have that type of you know, organizational skills, definitely apply it because it can help out achieve those goals just because you're looking at it every day and that makes
Yeah.
sense.
And the Bible talks about that, about having a vision and writing that vision down and
Mhm.
making it plain, right? So can't remember which scripture that is, but yeah, there's a scripture that talks about writing things down. And there's something about writing things down too. I know for me, it becomes more real. If I just think of it, it's fine. But if I actually think of it and then as I writing it down, it's almost like I won't say necessarily confirmation, but
Mhm.
a acknowledgement, I guess, that
Yeah.
this is important. And so writing it down, there's that commitment
Mhm.
to at least try to achieve that.
Exactly. And I think that's the same thing with, like when I was studying for like whenever I study, I like to write things down as well. Like when I'm taking notes, I think that's another thing. When you write down notes, it helps you memorize it. It helps you attain it, I guess, a little bit better, the knowledge, and learn a little bit faster. So, in that case, it definitely helps out to write it down because I think it just puts your brain in a different mode
Yeah.
because you're not just soaking it in. You're actually using your brain to write it out, and
Yeah.
you're thinking about it when you're writing it down. So
And I mean writing it, literally writing it down, not typing it in, because it's
that's true.
different. I don't know, when I'm typing things in, the psychological aspect of it is different from me actually physically writing it. It's kinda weird. I
That's
don't
interesting.
kinda weird to explain. There's probably some science behind it, but
Hmm.
the typing has to me is like it's no connection as opposed to, I mean, there's a connection, but writing it down has a more significant connection
Yeah.
for
I
lack of.
I can see that, I can see that.
Yeah.
I guess going to my next goal for next year is to I'm kinda embarrassed, not embarrassed, but I say this all the time, and I'm pretty sure all my family and friends know, is to get fit, get out of this dad bod. That's the biggest thing for me.
Dad bod, chubby wubby. I'm
We
not
ain't gonna
talking
go that
that.
far.
I'm actually, you're doing pretty good now. You were
Yeah, I
chubby
just
wubby for a minute there, though.
yeah. It's the diet is helping. I just need to that see the thing is for me is like I had the diet down pack. A lot of people really struggle with the diet part because it's hard to get rid of those sweets or those cravings or snacks and things like that. For me, it's not that hard, but the hardest thing for me is to actually go do some exercises and doing some, just moving and getting that type of, yeah, just get, moving around, get some sweat going, running around, lifting weights, things like that. That's the biggest thing for me. I need to do better at. So my goal, if I want to do it smart way, I definitely want to lose at least like 40 pounds, to be
40
honest.
pounds, that's a lot.
I've done it before. Like in the military, I lost 30 pounds in like 3 months. So I know I can do it, but it's just more of a mindset. And
Yeah, I hear you.
it's that's the hard part. It's the like doing it is not hard. It's just the mindset to do it is hard.
Yeah,
Cause
and then maintaining it too, right?
yeah,
You gotta
exactly.
go
Like
back to the old ways of how you gained it in the first place.
it's mind over matter, like literally, like you can really do anything, like God has really set us to do all things through Christ, but it's all in the mindset. You had to believe you could do it.
Yeah,
If you
that's true.
you know what I mean? Like it's so I just had to believe like I can lose 40 pounds and actually do it and follow up with that every day or, set a schedule, whatever I want to do. But that's big for me. I know everybody's probably joking around and stuff, but I definitely want to lose about 40 pounds in the next year
Okay.
or more. Shoot. But that's enough for that one. What about you?
So my list is broken up into multiple categories or different aspects of my life. The most important one is my spiritual, my connection with the Lord.
Hmm.
That's that's got to be rock solid in terms of everything else, or most important in terms of everything else. So spirituality is my first thing. So that's the area that I want to make sure that I'm continuing to grow in. I'm not talking about serving and doing things, but more of just a connection with God, through
Hmm.
quiet times and Bible study and things of that nature and fasting and so forth. So that's
Yeah.
important to me. And then I have another category for family, because that's the second most important thing is making sure that my wife and you guys are grown now. That responsibility is not as great as it used to be.
Hey, can
But
I
still being there for you guys to support you and of course the grandkids and so forth. Just making sure that I'm pouring into you guys as God is pouring into me. And then the next one is ministry, where that's more of going to church and serving and being a blessing to the community, making sure that I'm making myself available to serve others. And that's ongoing, but I classify that as kind of the ministry category. And then the next one is health. I'm just making sure that I'm staying physically fit.
Mhm.
That's been a challenge for me the last few years.
I'm not the only one.
Yeah, it's been a challenge, but I've been doing better. I'm getting
Yeah,
out
you're
there to
definitely doing
walk,
good.
even though I'm not walking as much as I want, but I'm doing my calisthenics and push-ups and sit-ups and jumping jacks,
Mhm.
when you work in the office all the time, you're sitting down
Exactly.
for hours upon hours. So I'm trying to do better. It's like on the hour. I haven't made it yet, but on the hour to get up and just do some jumping jacks or something, just to get the blood circulating. So anyway, so that's health is
Exactly.
the next one. Then financials the next, making sure that I'm being a good steward of my finances.
Mhm.
My tithes and offerings at church, or just being available to share and give to those that are in need. But also being a good steward of saving and not spending on frivolously on things that I don't really need. Just those kinds of things. So just making sure I have goals in that area. And then, of course, career, business,
Mhm.
entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur, those things, and I have goals there. So yeah, that's kind of how I've broken it up. And I like I said, I got to go back and add the SMART to each of these so that they're tangible, achievable, and
Mhm.
that the timeline is in place. And like we said before, it's great to have those things, but life can throw a
Yeah.
curveball, and it typically and usually does. And so, but you just have to be able to bounce back or adjust or reassess and maybe pivot a little bit. But
Exactly.
it's good to always have something in place. But I wanted to share a couple of scriptures too, because I wanted to make sure as you guys are planning out your New Year's resolution, or just planning out for next year, to keep in mind and make sure God is at the core. And I love these scriptures that he has because they help us to know that he does care about what he has for us. And he does care about some of the desires that we want to achieve. But we just got to keep it all in perspective and make sure that he's in the core. So this one is Jeremiah 29:11. This is one of my favorite scriptures about planning and trusting God. And it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." So God knows our plans,
Mhm.
and he has plans for us. He's put us on this planet for a reason. And a lot of times we don't really know what that reason is. Especially in the West, we are truly guilty of understanding our role in purpose with regard to God. I know growing up, the goal was to be successful, go to college, get your degree, make plenty of money, buy you a nice car, have fine things in life. The American dream. But that's not necessarily what God would like for us. He's not
That's
against
true.
that. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's against having nice things, but that should not be the goal.
Mhm.
He has plans for us. He's placed us on this planet for a reason. And then the other scripture is called Proverbs. It's Proverbs 3, 5 and 6. This is another favorite one of mine. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and in all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight, or make your plans straight in a lot of ways." So if we put God first in everything that we do, then he's going to be able to give us ideas and direct us as far as what our purpose is and how we can go about doing it.
Mhm.
And I think it's nothing better than living life knowing what you've called and what your purpose is.
I agree.
It's very it's really not fulfilling when you can have all the money in the world and still don't know why you're here.
Yeah, still
And
facts.
so I think the key thing is knowing and understanding what God has called you to do. And then the other things about, like you mentioned, this is the smart thing. This kind of talks about that. And this is Proverbs 16:3. It says, commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. So in everything that you do in your work, be committed to it. Don't do it half-heartedly or, just as not serious about it. Just be committed to it, and God will honor that. And it may not be something that you like doing at the time. I know a lot of young people. You could probably attest to this.
Mhm.
And everybody wants to be a influencer, right, or a gamer
Definitely.
or stuff like that, and not everybody can do that.
Exactly.
And so, if you end up washing cars or waiting tables, don't feel bad in that role at the moment because that's just the foundation for whatever God has for you. And it's a skill set that you probably need to have
Mhm.
whatever he wants you to do moving forward. And there's other scripture right here says Psalms 20 verse 4 says, may he give you the desire of your heart and make all your plans succeed. So there's context to that. And that context is making sure that your heart desires are not contrary to what God's heart's desires are. Because we could
Mhm.
be desiring all the money in the world,
Yeah,
and whatever it takes to get that money. And that's not really God's desire. So anyway,
that's true.
uh, and the last thing is in Colossians 3:17. It says, whatever you do in word or deed, do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. So
Mhm.
everything that we do, whether we're a financial planner or whether you're an engineer, whether you are a sports person or athlete, everything should point back to God
Mhm.
and use that skill set to point back to God. So anyway, that's kind
That's
of
true.
my thoughts on planning for 2026. You got any other things? I guess you got to just share your list a little bit more. You got anything
Uh,
else?
I'm trying to think. That was yeah. I mean, that was pretty much it. I mean, the last thing really was just the career section, and you kind of talked about it a little bit more, but just in my sense, just to be the best I can be in anything I do. I love my job so far. Like and we could probably talk about this a whole another episode, but my life and finding a job after college, and especially when you're talking about waiting tables and things like that. I was doing that for a little bit and being a busboy and stuff like that, and working at a bar and doing all the ins and outs. And I was like, I hate this so much already.
Yeah, I remember
Like,
that. And
yeah,
I'll say,
you
I just hold on, sir. I mean, in due
exactly,
season, God
and
will open
then
the doors for you. But right now, He's
exactly,
preparing you to have humility. Because I mean,
exactly,
and I'm not knocking, you know, waiting on tables because some people do well at that, and that's what and they love doing it, and they do well at.
exactly.
So,
Yeah,
uh,
no, not to it or nothing like that. It was just, this is where, like you saying, like it may not feel like the right time. You might feel like you're out of place and stuff like that, but it helped shape me who I am today because it kind of humbled me. It put me in a position where it's like I need to trust in God a little bit more because I was like, God, what are you telling me? Like, why can't I find a job after college? So it's like put me in a position where I relied on Him a lot more. So much grateful for the opportunity I do have
yeah,
now with my career. So,
yeah,
um,
it's that
it
patience.
definitely helped out in that sense. So
Yeah,
if anybody listening, if you're not in that position, just keep on trusting God. He has a bigger plan for you. This is just a pit stop, just to learn a little bit more and really learn more about yourself. That's the biggest thing because just that self awareness and self improvement is always great, and
yeah,
noticing your skill set and what you're great at and what you may find your purpose in. It could be that like God puts us like in crazy situations that we never thought we would be there. And guess what? You love it. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
just never discount what God has for you because it could be definitely a blessing in disguise. So
That is so true.
so I'm happy where I'm at now. Like, but just to grasp or to put more into emphasis on that career thing, I just want to continue in my role now. I'm in the finance industry. I definitely want to be in that finance planning thing. So I'm studying for my next test, the 66, and then looking to get more designations in the coming year as well. So I just want to be a mastermind when it comes to finances. I definitely want to help people out and bring the glory back to God. Just help people out that's not good with finances. That's the biggest goal for me
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
community and family and friends and
That's
things like
that's
that.
a that's a really good goal to have because a lot of us we're not really good stewards of our money. So you look around, we're big consumers, not big
Mhm.
savers. And so
Exactly. And it's a
that
lot,
skill
yeah.
set is needed for sure.
Yeah. So I'm trying to be the best person I could be in that career path and
Yeah.
really be a shoulder that people can lean on when it comes to advice, when it comes to that. So that's the biggest goal. Not just this year, but just, this forward into time.
Yeah, moving forward. Well, cool. Well, appreciate you guys hanging out with us on this episode of God Dreamers. If you have any ideas or have any comments about what was discussed, please share it in our comments section. And if you have any ideas as far as topics to discuss as well, let us know. We'd be
Yeah.
more than happy to, if it makes sense, bring it on to the podcast and talk about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And make
Until
sure if
next.
you enjoyed yourself too, make sure you like and comment and
Yeah, yeah,
subscribe.
yeah. If you like what we're doing, you subscribe, share it with your friends and family. Yeah, if you help us out, yeah, we will appreciate that for sure, for sure, for sure. So, yeah, that didn't sound right, man. Right?
For sure, for sure, for
For
sure.
sure, for sure, for sure. But anyway, you guys take care. God bless. Until next time, we'll see you.
All right, catch you guys later.